Starry Nights and Fairy Tales. In a faraway village nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, there was a tradition that took place every starry night. The villagers would gather under the twinkling sky, their hearts filled with anticipation, for it was the time of starry nights and fairy tales. Amidst the flickering fireflies and the gentle rustling of leaves, a storyteller named Elinor would appear. With hair as silver as the moon and eyes that sparkled like the stars above, Elinor possessed a gift that stirred the imagination of all who listened. Her stories weren't just tales, they were windows into magical realms where dreams and reality intertwined. One particularly enchanting night, as constellations painted the sky, Elinor began a story that would captivate the villagers like never before. Her voice, soft yet commanding, carried across the open field, weaving a tapestry of words that danced in harmony with the twinkling stars. Elinor's story introduced a young dreamer named Aidan, who lived in a world where fairy tales were more than just stories, they were gateways to other worlds. Aidan's heart was drawn to the forgotten corners of his village library, where ancient tomes whispered secrets of long-lost lands. One day, as the village prepared for the annual Starry Nights and Fairy Tales gathering, Aidan stumbled upon an ornate book bound in midnight blue leather. Its pages were filled with tales of enchanted forests, talking animals, and brave adventurers. What Aidan didn't know was that this book held the key to a realm beyond his wildest dreams. As the village gathered under the starlit sky, Elinor's story of Aidan continued. With each word, the air seemed to shimmer with magic, and the villagers were transported into the world of the tale. They saw Aidan's heart race as he opened the book, releasing a burst of stardust that carried him away to the very world he had read about. In this new realm, Aidan's surroundings were painted in hues of moonlight and dreams. Fairies flitted among petals that glowed like lanterns, and streams whispered secrets in a language only he understood. With each step, Aidan felt the stories he had read becoming his reality. But it wasn't long before Aidan discovered that this world was in peril. An eternal night cast its shadow, threatening to extinguish the stars and plunge the land into darkness. Guided by newfound friends, a brave talking rabbit and a mischievous sprite, Aidan embarked on a quest to restore the balance between light and darkness. His journey took him through enchanted forests where trees whispered ancient truths, and across meadows where time itself seemed to dance. Along the way, Aidan learned that the magic of the land was woven from the threads of imagination, and that his belief in fairy tales held the power to change the destiny of this realm. With courage and determination, Aidan faced challenges that tested his resolve and friendships that warmed his heart. He discovered that even the smallest spark of hope could illuminate the darkest of nights. And as his adventure reached its climax, the villagers back in their own world watched the stars above flicker and dance in time with Aidan's triumphs. As Elinor's story came to an end, a sense of wonder lingered in the air, as if the magic of Aidan's tale had infused the very surroundings. The villagers returned to their homes with hearts brimming with inspiration, knowing that the stories they held dear were not just words on pages but keys to realms waiting to be explored. And so, in the village beneath the starry night, the tradition of starry nights and fairy tales continued, passing down the magic of stories from generation to generation. For it was in the glow of the stars and the embrace of imagination that dreams took flight, and the world of fairy tales became a part of their very existence, turning their own nights into tales waiting to be lived. As the years passed, the tradition of starry nights and fairy tales grew stronger, and the village itself seemed to radiate with a unique kind of magic. Elinor, the beloved storyteller, became an embodiment of the stories she shared, her ageless presence a reminder that the boundary between reality and fantasy was as thin as a moonbeam. Each starry night brought forth new stories, each more captivating than the last. Villagers of all ages would gather under the celestial canopy, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of lanterns and the shimmering stars above. Parents and children sat side by side, united by the promise of imagination's embrace. Elinor's tales spanned realms beyond imagining. From ancient dragons who guarded secrets within the heart of mountains to mermaids whose songs enchanted sailors, every story was a portal to adventure. With her words, Elinor painted images that danced in the minds of her listeners, taking them on journeys where the extraordinary was an everyday occurrence. As the stories flowed, the villagers found themselves caught in the midst of these tales. They walked alongside heroes, solved riddles with clever foxes, and danced with fireflies in moonlit clearings. The boundary between storyteller and listener dissolved, and together, they ventured into realms where reality and fantasy intertwined. One starry night, Elinor introduced a new character, Isabella, a curious girl with a heart full of wonder. Isabella was chosen to be the guardian of the story crystal, a gem that held the essence of every tale ever told in the village. The crystal's magic had the power to transport Isabella into the very heart of the stories, allowing her to interact with characters and shape their destinies. As Isabella's adventures unfolded, she journeyed through faraway lands, confronting witches, befriending creatures, and standing alongside heroes in their battles against darkness. With each story, she discovered that her own courage and compassion held the key to resolving conflicts and bringing about happy endings. One fateful night, as Isabella held the story crystal high, a brilliant light burst forth, painting the sky with colors only seen in the most vivid of dreams. The villagers watched in awe as the very stars seemed to gather around the crystal, their light infusing it with a unique kind of magic. With the crystal's newfound power, Isabella and the villagers collectively shaped stories that ignited change in their world. Tales of unity inspired them to come together to tend to the village gardens and heal the forest that had suffered from neglect. Stories of kindness led to acts of compassion that transformed the lives of both humans and animals. And so, the village itself became a living, breathing story, where the magic of fiction and reality blended seamlessly. Children grew up with a deep understanding that the world was filled with endless possibilities, and the adults found solace in the wisdom that even the simplest of tales held profound truths. As time flowed like a river, the village continued to celebrate starry nights and fairy tales, their stories echoing through the ages like constellations in the sky. Elinor's stories became part of their collective memory, a testament to the power of imagination, community, and the endless adventures waiting to be explored. And so, as you prepare to drift into slumber, dear listener, may the legacy of starry nights and fairy tales fill your dreams with the magic of possibility. Remember that within every starry night, within every whispered tale, lies a world waiting to be lived, a story eager to be embraced. Let the stars above guide your journey into the realms of your own imagination, where starlight and fairy tales intertwine in the dance of dreams.